Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of Vern's Misadventures. In this one, we're going to go over the Commodore 128 here. In the last episode, we actually got it working, which was cool. But how much of the system itself works? Does the floppy disk drive work? Is there anything left to fix? What needs improvement? So let's go over all that. Let's do this. Alright, so if you've been following this project, you see that this is the Commodore 128. We have completely disassembled it, retrobrided it, and repaired it. So now it will turn on and produce video. This is the 1571 floppy disk drive. What we did for this is we disassembled it. There was a problem with the load-unload lever dealy-bob. It allows you to insert and remove the disks. So we took it all apart, lubed it all up, cleaned it up, and assembled it properly, so now that works. And we retrobrided the case, cleaned it all up, got it all the dust out, cleaned it off with some alcohol and whatnot inside. So what I haven't done is demonstrate whether any of this stuff really works. In the last video we got the 128 working, and I demonstrated a quick demo that it was running on the SD to IEC, which is right here. But I never demonstrated whether or not the floppy disk drive works. So why don't we go ahead and do that? So we'll turn on power, and there is our scepter monitor and the Retrotink. Now let's turn on the floppy disk drive, and we'll turn on the Commodore 128. Computer gets turned on last so that all of its peripherals are ready to be used. So because I have the Epix fast loader inserted, it went ahead and started in 64 mode. So let's turn this back off, and we'll flip this switch over to the off position, and it should start in Commodore 128 mode now. And it has. Awesome. So 40 column wise, we're very functional. We seem to work very well. Let me get a disk out and we'll see if we can load something in the floppy disk drive. This is the Commodore 128 CPM system disk, CPM plus version 3.0. So why don't we go ahead and load this up, and we'll restart the computer. So back to the switch again. Turning it on, watching the screen. Okay. Should get a command prompt here. Cool. So, as you can see, the Commodore 128 will run in CPM mode, and the floppy disk drive does work. So let's see if we can find any other floppy disks that we might want to mess with. I don't have any CPM software, so unless I do and I just don't recognize it as such, which is also a possibility. Here's a disk called Music Shop, and obviously not a factory disk, but I believe that one's going to need to be started in 64 mode. So why don't we just go ahead and turn on the fast loader. So we'll go ahead and flip the switch on the fast load to on, and that way it'll go ahead and start in 64 mode, and then we can go from there. So let's see. Alright, back to the power switch. There's the power on light. So yeah, it started up in 64 mode. I don't think I've tried the floppy disk drive with the Epix fast loader. I pulled it out and started using it when I was using the SD to IEC. So that ought to be interesting. With the Epix fast loader, you just put the $sign and enter. It goes ahead and does the directory. Pretty cool, huh? Well, let's just try the trick, huh? Let's just do the thing. So we'll just do the load asterisk, comma 8, comma 1. Okay. Alrighty, we run. Music shop. We got quite a bit of software with this thing, and so far I haven't encountered a single floppy disk that doesn't work. Okay, so anyway, that's that one. So let's go ahead and turn the floppy disk off. And we'll put this away. So one thing I noticed when I set these up in a series on the serial port, because you see the SD2 IEC that I have has the output right here. And I've tried, and it could be because I had it going through this one first and then going through that. I thought it would be easier to set this up as drive 9, the SD2 IEC, than it would be to do this. There is a switch on the back here, and I suppose I could have messed with that. But what I found in my testing was that you get really slow load times when you try to use both connected together. And I also found that I ran into problems assigning the SD2 IEC as disk number 9 as far as when it's going to load more than one file off of the disk. I ran into trouble there, so obviously there's some setup needs to be done in the computer. I'm sure I could learn how to do that, but right now I don't know how to do that to make the default drive 9 instead of 8. So it was just easier to return the SD2 IEC to drive 8 status. And so now, so as long as it's 8 and it's going to load more than one file off of the selected disk, then it works just fine. So obviously what's needed to do here, if we're going to do that, is to change the default in the computer. And there is some code to do that. I've seen people do it. I don't remember what it is, and I'd have to look it up again. So for today's purposes, we'll just use one at a time. How about that? That was a long story to get around to that. All right, let's talk about what else we got hooked up here. We've got the Epix Fast Loader here in the cartridge port. We've got our SD2 IEC connected to the cassette port and the serial connection. We're not using the composite video out. We have our clear video 128 connected through the S video cable and the jack for the audio. Next to that is a connector for the RGBI connector for the 80 column, and we're going to get to that in a minute. And then next to that is the adapter that came with my copy of the Petsky robots for the Commodore 64. I saw recently that he's working on, we're talking about the 8-bit guy, by the way, if you're not aware. The 8-bit guy is working on a version for the 128. Since I already have a box, it's already autographed, I'm just going to probably get the digital download for the 128 when it becomes available. But we're looking forward to that, and I'm also looking forward to getting this thing working on 80 columns so we can have 2 monitors. So let's see here. So yeah, this is an adapter for the user port that adapts it to use a controller for the Super Nintendo Entertainment Center, SNES. And I got this controller, I got it from Amazon. So I have a controller to use with the Petsky robots, and I'm still no good at playing the game, even with a controller. But that's not overly surprising to me. Alright, so that gets us all caught up here. So that's what all this nonsense is on the back here. So I have a monitor here. It has RGB, your regular PC connector, if you will. So obviously you cannot connect that to the RGBI and expect it to work. In fact, you can't even make the connection, I don't think. So I needed an adapter. The first adapter I bought was this one, and it was like $30, something over in there, something like that, 30 some dollars. And supposedly it's going to adapt from CGA to VGA, right? Well, it didn't have the horsepower to do the job. So the same place I bought that from also had another one. Now just looking at this one, you can see this one got a little more to it, right? And so I got nothing displayed using that other adapter. And this one here, I'm going to show you what we get. It's not impressive, but I will show you what we get. Definitely going to need 128 mode for that. So we'll turn that switch back to off on the Epix Fast Loader. We'll plug this in over here on the adapter. No, there we go. So our adapter is hot. So we'll turn on the switch. So we push the 80 column button down. As you see here, our monitor, the 40 column monitor still lights up, but there's no text on it. It's coming out very ugly on the text and whatnot. So obviously we have a deficiency in our 80 columns somewhere. So whatever is going on here, I don't believe it has to do with our adapter. We can sure play around with it some. There are some modes here and stuff we could play with, but I played around with it for a while and never had any luck with it. We got no cursor, we got nothing here. And then there's a config. Yeah, 80 column is a definite bust here on that deal. I have a demo. Let's try. We're gonna go ahead and zoom you in over here. Okay, so that loads a basic program that determines which system it's running on. When you run it, it will determine that it's on a 128, system C128, and then it'll load the appropriate file browser. What we can do is we'll go down here to our programs, and then I have some C128 demos. Well, look what's going on over here now. So I don't know if I got bad traces still, or if I've got a bad chip or what. So I'm gonna have to comb through that to figure out the 80 column for sure. You notice you still got some jail bars here. They don't show up as well on the camera as you do in real life, but that is from the Retrotink itself, which is very disappointing because that Retrotink was about $80 and I'm really not impressed with how it works. Let's do the VDC 101, I think. So we do VDC 101. That should be a VDC, or it's going to be the 80 column mode. So it should display on the VGA monitor, the yellow monitor if you will. See where it says program and enter or return. Okay, let's see. Now that doesn't look horrible. It doesn't look good. Yeah, we got serious issues here. As you can see, the 40 column monitor, which would be the scepter monitor here, that one there is just blank while it's running this one. So I got the color going on with the high def display there. I didn't show it because it was a complete shit show, but I did the 64K upgrade on the VDC memory, and in removing my 16K chips I managed to pull a couple traces, and I had to do some bodging and whatnot. So I'm wondering if some of my bodge work has left something to be desired. So we can definitely check that out when the time comes to figure out why this is ugly. But I didn't have an adapter to test it, and the computer wasn't working, so we had those two problems against us. So we're only now in a position to do anything about this. And I thought, well, let's do a run through of what's good, what's bad, what's ugly, huh? So you try some of the other ones if you like. Okay, run. So in 128 mode, it's supposed to be faster because it supposedly had corrected the issue that made all of the disks load slowly, and everything from the PET through the Commodore 64. So you're not supposed to need the Epix Fast Loader in 128 mode, but it does seem like it's a little slower than it is when I'm running 64 with the Epix Fast Loader. So, personal observation. Let's try that. see, thrice. I don't know. So, not all of these work either. Loading. And the air conditioner's back. Okay. So, the floppy disks we got, most of those seem to work. The floppy disk drive works. The Commodore 128 works in 40 column mode. So, I mean, we're winning a lot of battles here. We are kind of striking out in the 80 column just yet, but that's alright, we'll get there. Let's turn this off. So, let's see. Oh, the other thing that it came with is these not so awesome joysticks. And they work, but they leave something to be desired. So another project we could do with this is maybe get them apart and clean them up the contacts so that they work a little nicer. But they are functional. I have tested both of them. They do work. Here's something we could do. I haven't even done it yet. So to do that, we're going to have to switch this back over. I have a digital copy of the Petsky Robots. I've never used my floppy disk that I bought. I mainly wanted the autographed box, you know. And also with the box you get the adapter for the Super Nintendo controller. Now obviously we're going to use 64 mode, so we'll put the switch. We'll pull out this. And we'll plug this one back in again. Appears to be in there. Put the floppy in here. Turn on the power. And we'll turn on this power. And then we'll look at the screen. This is ready, so let's run. Now you see where it keeps going back to load different things? That's where it was erroring before, when I didn't have my default as the 9 disk, which it probably would have worked on a floppy just fine because that was set up as 8, but I was using it on the SD2IEC. So under controls, you just press the enter button. There you go, SNES pad right there, and then we go back up and start. So now we should be able to use the SNES pad. Let's see. Oh no, it was this. Yeah. So searching, and I found a pistol. See, I'm using the pad here. Let's see if I can show that. So anyway, I'm not going to show you all how bad I am at the game. I'll let you use your imagination for that. So, yeah, my floppy disk drive works. My floppy disk that I got from the 8-bit guy works. That's pretty cool. Yeah, at any rate, I think all but once in a great while I'm going to be using just the digital copy that I have on the SD2IEC. And that way we don't wear that other stuff out. It's kind of collectible. At least in my eyes. So, I think that's got us all caught up. So, next steps. We said we were going to talk about next steps. Next steps, obviously, we got to figure out what's going on with the 80 column. Also, do something with these joysticks, because you really have to fight with them to get them to work half the time. You really got to put some pressure on them. They feel very sloppy. Maybe there's a way to tighten them up a little bit. I think if nothing else, a little contact cleaning and whatnot might be in order. If they're carbon contact dealies like a keyboard, then obviously we won't be able to do much. But I have to get them apart and see. Hopefully we won't end up ruining them. Alright, so we're a little disappointed in the jail bars all over the Retrotink's output. I also bought this here from Amazon, or was it eBay? It's a video converter, video to VGA. Now, I know the Apple II works with this in the composite mode. So I was actually thinking I was probably going to use this monitor with the Apple II, but you know, what I haven't tried is the Commodore 128, the S-Video, going through this and into the VGA monitor. So let's give that a shot. I know that's a mess, but that's just kind of showing you that it is connected. Alright, so let's have a look at there. Let's see how good, bad, or ugly that looks. Put that on there. Oh, there it is. How about that? Okay, so we had to push that first button. AVSB PC. Okay. So we do get a picture on the VGA. It's a bit washed out. So we do have some jail bars, and we might tune those out. I don't know, I don't feel like taking the computer apart to do it. But that does show us that it does have a video display here. Let's see the 128 on this monitor. So let's turn the computer off, flip the switch, turn the computer back on. That doesn't look bad at all. Like I say, it does have the jail bars, but I bet I could adjust some of that away. Now that it's not the adapter itself, like in the case of the Retrotink. So that might be another project we could work on later too. So we've got possibly adjusting some of the jail bars away using this adapter instead of the Retrotink. We have the joysticks, and we have the 80 column project. So pretty cool. We're not done with the 128 just yet, are we? Now we'll load. Okay, we'll run. Okay. So if we come down here to our disk, or no, to our programs, I have a folder called My Programs. And we can go down here to graphics example. So this is a program I typed in out of the user's manual. I bought this on eBay because, of course, my Commodore 128 didn't come with the book, but it is the system guide. At any rate, hey, thanks for watching the video. As you can see, we got plenty of fun stuff left in store for the Commodore 128, and you probably want to click that subscribe button so that you can be notified when I get those videos uploaded. Until then, my friends, y'all take care.